All right, welcome everyone. Happy Tuesday. Excited you decided to join us this evening, or maybe you're catching the replay. My name is Dr. Stacy Holweger, and I am so excited to share some information with you this evening and interview a fantastic guest. I got the pleasure of meeting he and his wife in Punta Cana just a few weeks ago. I was introduced to Doc Rock by Marcy Preble, none other than our Senior Presidential Director, Marcy, that was over in Maui through Kathleen Nichols. And so we're so excited that he took the time out from Hawaii to be able to be here with us today for him this evening for us and share a little bit more information about LifeWaves technology. I'll give you more information about Doc Rock here in just a second. But before I do, I want you to know that I am not a medical doctor. And he is not a medical doctor, and we are not your medical doctors. If you have questions in regards to your health, and your medications and what's going on with you, of course, please check with your healthcare practitioner or your doctor so they can best guide you and assist you. The information that we're sharing this evening is for informational purposes only. It is not intended to treat, cure, or diagnose or prevent anything that's going on with you. And I will share with you that you're going to get a lot of information tonight, a lot of fantastic information about LifeWaves technology. But before we do, I want to give you a little background on Dr. Mark Rocco. So, Dr. Mark was born and raised in Maui with his family enjoying a lot of the outdoor sports that are offered in Hawaii, such as surfing, canoeing, paddling, swimming, fishing, biking, and camping. In his active lifestyle, he was always curious about the body and how it worked, how people were able to do superhuman, superhero-like things, such as in sports with bodybuilders and like a single person that could pull a single truck on his own. Well, in addition, he became curious on how people would be injured or sick and then stay injured or sick. Doc Rock went into his undergraduate school at University of Northern Colorado pursuing kinesiology and nutrition. He then continued his studies in massage therapy, physical therapy, and strength and conditioning coaching. Those experiences taught him that the majority of people have imbalances physically, chemically, emotionally that are contributing to their existing health injuries or conditions. Before becoming a doctor, another chiropractor helped Dr. Rocco as a strength coach with his clients to understand that exercise, massage, and nutrition are great for improving and changing our health, but they have limitations. Dr. Rocco decided to go and get his doctorate in chiropractic to learn to use the latest health research, new technology tools, and the most advanced medical tools to restore functioning and health for people. Doc Rock, as he's called, moved to San Francisco Bay Area and attended chiropractic college. During his second year, unfortunately, he was hit by a car on the way to school that resulted in conditions that changed his life and such forever, such as digestion dysfunctions, neuropathy in his spine and arm, and detached retinas. He took the typical conventional medical route of care that only offered symptom management. Doc Rock eventually had to undergo 10 retinal detachment surgeries that proved to be unsuccessful. At his lowest time, losing his vision and praying to God for guidance on how to help patients as a doctor if he could not visually see them, the response he got was, "You will now have a new vision to see inside." So from that moment, Doc Rock changed his mindset to have a vision of health and be unlimited. With the guidance of mentoring other doctors, Doc Rock learned how his own injuries created imbalances and dysfunctions, keeping his body from healing. It was up to him to do the research and work to correct the dysfunctions to heal his body. Doc Rock received his doctorate in chiropractic in 2007. And most people are not aware, but chiropractors study more than medical doctors. Following his doctorate program, Doc Rock has continually researched multiple areas of functional medicine to learn how to optimize our functioning for longevity and quality of life. In the practice they have in Hawaii, Holistic Health Network, located in Maui, Doc Rock teaches patients to revolutionize their health by using holistic health methods, focusing on the body's innate intelligence, mind, and spirit. And when Doc Rock is not working, he enjoys spending time with his son, Nicholas Rocco, and wife of 12 years, Omaya Rocco. Together, they are cohesive and the best business partners a provider could ask for. They enjoy traveling around the world to new locations, performing community service for their local Hawaii community and others around the world. He loves educating the world on how to get healthy so they can fulfill their God-given purpose. So, with that, Doc Rock, I would love for you to give us your journey, give us your background, tell us about yourself, and take us up to speed to when you found out about LifeWave's technology. How I know that was 2.5 years ago. What made you decide to say yes? Give us all the experiences and talk to us about incorporating that into your practice.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Stacy. So I've been in practice for about 15 years. A few years we started out in Colorado Springs. This is great. COVID happened, a lot of business changes, government. They didn't want to allow us to see patients for about 6 months. So that was not very good for us. I had already had my license here in Hawaii, and chiropractors were actually treating patients in Hawaii. They were not restricted, and patients could go see chiropractors and their providers in Hawaii, not like in Colorado. So we decided to make the move and go back to Hawaii and Maui, where I was born and raised, and restart. Sometimes you got to do that. We lost everything. Lost our clinic, our home, everything essentially to restart. And sometimes we have these opportunities and we think they're very bad. We think they're pretty ugly. And there's some really great blessings behind it. So, hey, I see it as that way. It's one of the things. If that didn't happen, I wouldn't have been able to meet great people like Sheila Hay and Kathleen Nichols to introduce us to this LifeWave because I see it a great opportunity, not just nationally, but internationally to help global change for people in their lives. Uh, about 2.5 years ago, I met Sheila to help her with some of her own health struggles. And she introduced me to the LifeWave patches, which at first I was curious because being in the field that I'm in, holistic care, you got to be open minded. A lot of people, they're always looking for the golden nugget. What's the one thing? I need one thing. What's the one vitamin? What's the one tool? What's the one medical procedure that's going to help and fix everything? And it, it's not there. I can definitely tell you after 15 years and seeing hundreds of thousands of patients, it's not there. It's going to be about your intention of figuring out what things does my body need. So Sheila introduced me to this concept. Oh, these patches can help to stimulate stem cells and peptides. This is pretty interesting. Okay. I had already been in the field of regenerative medicine. I had already been using stem cell therapy in my clinic back in Colorado for injuries. People come in to get some stem cells to help them with the injured knee, injured shoulder. Really good results. But I'd probably say 50-50. Probably take them 3 to 6 months to see changes. And most people they have a hard time with that because they're impatient. They're suffering, they're struggling. They don't want to wait. They want instant results. So other people also kind of shy away from regenerative medicine and stem cell therapy because they're like, oh, there's needles. Wait, I got to do injections. Oh, you got to do an IV. So the whole idea about needles kind of makes, I'd probably say, about 30% of the people not do it. And so that's very understandable. So because of that, I had already been familiar with regenerative therapies. And on top of that, I had already been researching and implementing ways of using peptides in my clinic to help people with similar things of regenerative healing and decreasing inflammation or addressing chronic illnesses. Unfortunately, peptides, which are a building block of proteins, if we have some beef or chicken or fish and we digest that protein, we break it down. We make about 300,000 different peptides that help our body to boost and accelerate functions. Maybe something as simple as increasing our circulation, maybe regenerating and producing new white blood cells, or helping us to increase the metabolic rate of cells. So if we're losing weight or building muscle, simple things like that. They can also help us to regenerate. Simple things like healing and regenerating new skin after we maybe have cut ourselves by accident. So when I found out that they're essentially signaling peptides, the LifeWave patches are signaling peptides, which I was already implementing and figuring out how I could use it for patients, there's a little light bulb went off. Why? Well, peptides require more injections or IVs. Once again, more people, they don't want to do that. So I'm always looking for methods that are simpler, more efficient, and more effective. Okay, so hey, this is an idea. I can take a patch and I can put it on someone's skin and I can leave it there for 12 hours and they can repeatedly do that day after day for a month. And I had to look at that as a comparison. If a person goes for an injection of a peptide, they may only go once in a month, once every 6 months. So in our bodies, we make the best and biggest changes by frequency, intensity, and duration. We see the similar things occur for people when they play sports. It's basketball, football, swimming. If they're practicing and they're doing repetition and they're doing specific kinds of training of intensity, their body, their anatomy, their physiology changes and adapts. So, LifeWave patches give us that ability to do that. We don't have to go to the doctor 5 days a week, 6 days a week. We can do it at home and on our own schedule, and our body is getting signaled. A signal is occurring, and our body is doing the rest. So let me maybe simplify it. Okay, so if I have a patient comes in, say, "Hey, Dr. Rocco, I got my shoulder is injured. I hurt my shoulder gardening and trying to pull out weeds." Okay, what do I do about this? Okay, I can do multiple things. I can have them stretch. I could have them ice it, heat it. Maybe he's thinking, "Oh, should I take some ibuprofen? Maybe you could give me a chiropractic adjustment." All these things, they could be all great. I could take some vitamins, some mineral, all these things. That's great. What can give them the longest lasting effect? Well, something that can be used multiple times daily for a month is going to give us the fastest recovery regeneration. So, if I use a LifeWave patch, one example would be Eon, or another example would be glutathione. These are using peptides that I talked about earlier, building blocks. So we put it on our skin. We can put it on the spot it hurts. So if he said, "I hurt my shoulder," I slap it on my shoulder. I could put one eon and I could put another glutathione right next to it. What do these do? These peptides inside the patch are nanocrystals. Nano is super small. The crystals receive heat from our body. Because we're mammals, we're producing heat. And that heat we produce is called infrared light. We can't see that light. So, similar to an infrared sauna. You can go in the sauna, you feel the heat, but you can't see the light. You can see the light if you were a hunter or military or police, where they use night vision goggles and they see different temperatures at night. You can see the different temperatures from our body. Those temperatures is a form of light. So that light goes to the patch, hits the crystals. The crystals change the wavelength of the light. That wavelength of light also is reflected back into the body. That new light at a different frequency signals our organs, our muscles, and tissues to start that reaction. For a shoulder, maybe decrease that inflammation. Decrease the inflammation around the muscle that was injured, around the ligaments, the tendons, the cartilage. It'll decrease inflammation. It'll start to regenerate that damaged tissue. It's pretty amazing because it's occurring for 12 hours. If we get a cortisone shot from the doctor, you go in, my shoulders hurt from weeding. I get an injection shot. That shot is probably only going to last a day or two at the most. It'll break down in the body. But the patches, you can wear it day after day for a month. That's going to give us the best, fastest healing, regenerative effects. That's amazing. Better than an injection, better than a pill. Why not a pill? Well, if I take a pill, a lot of it is lost by way of the digestive process. So by the time we are done digesting, we'll probably only get a third of that. So if I took a peptide and a pill, we're only going to get a third of it. Okay. So our LifeWave patches are giving us the best opportunity for the best results over a period of time. And this is a great thing because you can notice a reduction in inflammation with the Eon and glutathione patch in literally seconds. Literally 10 seconds from what I've seen of patients, they can have a change. That's great because that's what we want. We want efficiency, effectiveness, and people don't want to wait. They want convenience. So that's what I've seen in my practice. And I see amazing things from pain, people growing their hair, people improving their digestion, sleeping, correcting chronic fatigue, being able to move again when they weren't able to move. It's pretty amazing.
Wow. Wow. That sounds amazing. What a great explanation. So, Doc Rock, could you tell us a little bit about your wife's experience? Can you tell us a little bit about why you decided to utilize this technology for her?
Oh, yeah, sure. So, similar to like what I was saying, my wife is a medically retired veteran from the Army. She served while she was in, she got her back injured. She required back surgery. And for most people, they don't know because these are things that we believe. We grow up believing culturally. Go to the doctor and you listen to what they're saying because they're an expert and I have to follow competence. They're competent. They're supposed to be an expert in what they do. So we usually believe that stuff and getting a surgery on your back, well, The success rate for back surgeries is pretty bad. It's probably only about 30%. Most people would say most of the back surgeries are failures. Why? Well, after they're done, their pain hasn't gone away. It's just changed. So that's where a lot of people have come up with the understanding of like, oh, wait a second. Uh, it didn't really, I thought I was doing a surgery to take away the pain, and it didn't. It just made it different in a different area, or it feels different. So there's always trade-offs. I'm not opposed to surgeries. There's always a time and place for a surgery. That means you break your bone in your spine and your spine is unstable, you better get some surgery because you could hurt your spinal cord and nerves and you have a lot more problems. Okay. So we got to go look at it on a case by case basis. So she got a surgery as a decompression surgery where they kind of uh, drill out a hole to make space for a nerve. Okay. She did the surgery and the pain didn't really go away. So I start to go on a journey to try to help her because there's more to it. There's more to it. There's a reason why this nerve is having pain. So I got to try all these different things. What do? As doctors, we try we try and research everything under the sun. Vitamins, lasers, massages, acupuncture, every kind of regenerative medicine you can ask me, I've already researched it. If it's ozone, if it's, man, every kind of neurological therapy, seen it, done it, tried it. Do they work? They all work. They all work different for everybody. And we tried stuff, one thing at a time, sometimes multiple things. Some stuff made some improvements, but hands down, still, she would have problems doing activities, exercise, sleeping, because of the chronic pain. Okay, so we got to change that. That's what people run into. Chronic pain is inflammation that's hidden. You don't see it. The person that has chronic pain, they're not gonna have redness and swelling. They're, you're gonna have friends that are gonna have chronic pain and you can't see it. Pain is subjective. So as providers, when we do an exam, some some of the stuff doesn't show up, right? We're not going to see pain, we're not going to see swelling. So some people get confused, and then some of the doctors try to tell people, well, it's in your head. No, it is not in their head. It is occurring, and we have to look at ways of how to break that pattern, that program of chronic inflammation. So when I found out about the patch, I'm like, oh, we trying this. We're going to try this. And as soon as she tried the Eon, she noticed a change. Not in hours, not in days, but in seconds. This is big. This is a big deal. And then she could use it 12 hours. And what's even bigger is if it's reducing her pain and silent inflammation, that gives her body an opportunity to finally get out of the pattern of chronic inflammation and start to heal and regenerate. Here's the part that people don't get. When you are in chronic pain from an illness, infection, or injury, your body is in survival mode. Imagine you got survival mode over here, left hand, right hand. You got regeneration, growth, and healing. There's no middle. You're either one of those two. That's the modes that your nervous system is regulating in your body. So if you're in survival mode, you're not regenerating. This is why people struggle with stuff of injuries 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And all they're doing is trying to get functioning to improve their quality of life. So if you can break that chronic inflammation, you are going to have a life-changing event. And that's what we figured out. Frequency, intensity, duration is what the patches allow us to do. All those components. If you have a lot of pain, you don't have to use just one eon. You could use two or three. That's what's amazing about it. You're not going to have, you're not going to overdose like a medication. You're not going to have crazy pain like you had to have 10 little injections from needles. This is good. These are peptide molecules that our body already makes. All we're doing is giving it extra to break us out of this chronicity inflammation pattern that we've been stuck in. There you go, Dr. Stacy.
I love that. I love that. Break us out of the pattern. So
That's
many
right.
people are stuck in their patterns. Their body's doing the same thing, they're doing the same thing, getting the same result. They want something different, but they haven't broke the pattern. I love how you explain that these patches can break that pattern. But intensity, right? Got to go at it. That duration, you've got to give it time. Yes, we can get some results right away, but you've got to stay consistent with that, right? That time, that duration that you were patching. And you've been patching and your wife for 2.5 years now. So and I know you told me you're a healthy guy, right? You don't have any health
Yeah.
chronic issues or anything like that. Why are you still patching 2.5 years later? I mean, of course, we recommend at least 1 month for every decade you are old. I've been patching 3.5 years, but I think everyone would like to hear, why are you still patching?
Because in our country, in our culture, that we've learned these belief systems, we gotta understand a lot of the stuff that we've gotten in our lives, it's beliefs. These are all beliefs of based on excuses and ideas that we've learned. Oh, I have these problems. It's from my age, my gender, my genetics. That's my culture where I live, my stress. And those are all big lies. Why? Because our culture is all reactive. Okay, when we're reactive, we're not winning. We just keep producing problems. That's what procrastination does. If you are an investor on procrastination, you are only producing problems. So I would encourage people, don't do preventative, don't do reactive, be proactive. If you want a better quality of life, you have to have the intent and always be doing it. Like I said, survival mode or growth and regeneration. Which one would you rather be? So I'm a role model. I enjoy my career. I'm passionate about loving and serving people and seeing miracles every single day in my clinic of people's lives changing. And why do I want to wait for more problems? I already been down that road. So I'm trying to save people time, money, and energy so you don't go down the road 100 miles per hour in the wrong direction because you're never going to get to where you're trying to go. So you got to be proactive, not preventative, proactive.
I love that. I love that. Why are you still patching? Because you are leading by example. You are on your growth game. You are focused and staying in the right direction of continuing to help your body with healing and regeneration.
Exactly.
Whatever it's,
Well, exactly. One last point. I don't know about you guys. Hey, if I keep patching, I can keep getting younger. Wait a second. That's really good. That's very proactive. You can reverse stuff. Why not? Why not? Why not?
Why not? Exactly. I love that. So before we jumped on here, we talked a little bit about your two or three favorite patches that you use in your practice. You said
Yes.
X39, X49, glutathione. Tell everybody why. And if you want to do a deep dive
Sure.
on some of those, that would be fantastic. We've
Sure.
got lots of questions in the chat about X39, 49, how they're
Sure.
different or the same. So
Sure. Okay, guys. So remember, I said 300,000 different peptides in a body. Woo, that's a lot. So 39 and 49 are peptides based on copper metabolism. What does that mean? So, copper is one of our body's essential minerals. Our probably two biggest important minerals is going to be copper and magnesium. So, if you don't have copper, your nerves don't work. Whoa, that's kind of big. If we don't have copper, we can't regrow our skin and our hair. So every time you're growing, if you've cut your skin, you're growing new hair, your body's using copper. It's using it to regenerate tissue. It's using it to make an increased activity of cells that are regenerating. So if you're deficient, we'll say you take the patch. We'll say you take X39. I'm having hair problems. I want to grow some hair on my head. And you're mineral deficient in copper? Well, I don't see the results. I don't think this stuff works. Remember, don't look for the golden nugget. It's multiple things. You have to be proactive. So, what's some of the limiting factors on why people don't heal? One, they're dehydrated. Two, they're deficient in minerals. Those two things, just on that, is a huge thing. Number three is going to be diet. Diet can get us those nutrients. A lot of people, for some reason, they shy away from fruits and vegetables, and that's where you can get most of those essential minerals. You gotta trade out. You gotta trade out the Dunkin' Donuts for some apples and vegetables, and you would be surprised. The darker the vegetable, the more nutrients it has. And you know what? There's lots of alternatives. If you think you have too much of a hard time getting those, eating those kind of things, you can get supplemental electrolytes, supplemental minerals to help you correct that. Um, so X39 is going to help us with our hair, skin, nails, ligaments, cartilage, connective tissues, our stomach lining, the lining of our small intestines. Wow, that's a big deal. So people with digestion problems, irritable bowel, ulcerative colitis, chronic chronic infections in their intestines, yes, that's going to help you. X39 has also been studied and found that it will help to regenerate up to 59, 59% of our genes. Regenerate our genes. That's huge. So if people have been having troubles, maybe they've had a job where they're exposed to a lot of chemicals. They're a farmer. They've been sick for a long time. Those genes maybe have been damaged from chemical exposure. So X39 can help to regenerate those damaged genes. That's pretty amazing. Now, X49 is its partner. X49 is a partner. It also uses a copper peptide called AHK. So it's helping us with healing our bones, healing our muscle tissue. So if you like to work out and you're like, oh man, I'm always feeling sore, and I don't know if I'm getting stronger or building muscle, I don't know if I'm damaging it. This can help you to regenerate it and heal it. It helps us with increasing our circulation. So if you take it and you feel like you have more energy, that's because you have better circulation. Our body works with three forms of fuel: energy, oxygen, and blood. So if you are deficient in your blood supply, your organs and muscles, they're kind of suffocating. So X49 is going to help you with that. It's also going to help to boost circulation to your brain so you're going to have better cognitive awareness. That's amazing. Now, the third one. The third one is glutathione. That's what I like to use in our office. Why? Well, it is a peptide. It's made in our liver. Okay. It is a big, big factor on determining our age. Big. So, the higher amounts of glutathione we have, the slower we age. And the faster we help on healing. Why? What's that mean? So, glutathione has regenerative effects for our nerves. Our nerves are the slowest healing tissues in our body. Slowest, like imagine 1 centimeter a year. That's a long time. So if we can speed it up, let's speed it up. The way we're going to speed it up is by decreasing inflammation. Look, here's the line, Dr. Stacy. Here's the line, everybody. LifeWave Nation, if you're listening, here's the line. The restriction to regeneration is inflammation. The restriction to regeneration is inflammation. So, X39 also assists on producing glutathione. So if I'm taking X39 and glutathione, I'm doubling. I'm doubling. I'm doubling. Can I take multiple glutathiones? Yes. Can I have a strong effect? Yes. Could some people feel a little sickness? Yes. Why? Because their body's detoxifying. Some people have to be patient and do it in little steps. I would rather a person make little steps for success than try to go all in. I'd rather a person start. If you're sensitive to everything like allergies and all kinds of medications for everything, and you're a sensitive person, start just with X39. Do that couple weeks, see how your body does. You're going to notice some stuff. Then start with the glutathione. Half of a patch. How do I do half a patch? Don't cut the patch. That'll ruin it. Don't do that. Take half of the back of it off. So only half is sticking on your skin. Okay? That way you're getting a small amount. And maybe if you have to, start at only an hour, then increase it to maybe 5 or 6 hours, and then increase it to a day. Okay? These are things that you want to do. Baby steps for success because you're going to be decreasing that inflammation. If you have a lot of stuff, a lot of inflammation, remember I said you can stack it. X39, multiple glutathione, multiple eon. You know, if I really hurt my shoulder weeding or I fell on it, boom, you can put multiple. It's only going to accelerate the regeneration and healing. Don't be afraid of allowing your body to heal. Don't think you get a reward. You're Dr. Stacy and I are not going to send you a certificate in the mail for having a chronic inflammation injury or illness for 30 years. That's we don't want to be proud of that. We want to be proud of healing and regenerating and getting our quality of life back. Okay, because struggle, we don't need it. We can do a lot better things in helping people and loving people and serving people than enduring unnecessary struggle.
Yes, absolutely. I love too what you said, and everyone's quoting it in the chat. They're saying restriction to regeneration is inflammation.
You got it. That's the ticket. You break it. You break that chronic inflammation. You're on your way.
Yeah. Wow. So we've got a lot of questions in here about water. So I would
Sure.
love for you to address the importance of hydration, what that looks like, what that should be or not, and why is it important for the success of your patches?
Okay. So you guys, we're using and we're performing thousands of metabolic chemical reactions every day. Okay. And if you fell asleep in that class in high school in biology where they're teaching you our body is over 95% water, that means we need it. If we don't have it, you're running your car a hot engine without any water to cool it down. And then you get all mad when the engine breaks because it gets overheated and you don't understand. That's what's happening to your body. You're overheating it. Why would you want to do that? What do you think is going to occur? And nothing magic's going to occur. You're only going to produce bigger problems. So, water, hey, if people don't like the taste of water, be creative. Don't limit yourself. Add things to it. Add some add some lemon, add some orange, add lime, add electrolytes. You can get water flavoring. The key is your intention. Look at a lot of our stuff that we do is our mindset, is our intent. If I say I'm going to get younger every year, that's my intent. I'm going to do it. If you're going to say I'm going to build a house, you're going to do it. It just comes down to how. So, water, if you got to make little steps, if you got to get a water bottle and say, I need to finish this water bottle by the end of today. That's my first goal. If you have to start with just a cup, hey, start with a cup. Baby steps for success. You're better to get success with baby steps. So, if you got to start with the cup, great. If you do a water bottle and just try to finish that water bottle by the end of the day, that's great. Okay, what's an easy thing you can do? Well, first thing people can do that I try to teach my patients is in the morning, first thing you wake up, after you go potty, the first thing you should do is drink water. Why? You've been dehydrated the whole night. You've been sleeping 6 to 8 hours. That's a long time. During the day, if you didn't drink for 6 or 8 hours, people would go, oh, I'm so thirsty. But they don't think about it because you're unconscious, sleeping. So, first thing you should do is rehydrate. And I know people are like, oh, but I need coffee because I can't think. Just try to drink the water first because the water is going to increase your hydration and circulation to increase your brain functioning. You're not born with the deficiency of caffeine. Caffeine's just an extra stimulant. So you try water first thing in the morning. You just maybe if by your bathroom sink you have a big cup, you just fill it up as soon as you're done going potty, and you sit there and you drink it. Even if you have to sip it, you just one task. That's what I tell people. Just do one task at a time. Just try to sit there and drink it. You don't have to you don't have to chug it down, but if you can finish it, man, that's a great start because God, that's what your body needs first thing off the bat. Second, some people live in areas where maybe their water's not so good. So maybe you need to filter your water because it may have chemicals. Look at what happened in Flint, Michigan, right? Heavy metals act as a toxin. Toxins create inflammation. The solution to pollution is by dilution. We have to dilute the toxins in our water. So if you want to get a counter water filter or bottled water, something to start. If you know your water's not good, you got to start somewhere. If you can't afford a water filter, well, at least just go buy some filtered bottled water. At least it's a start. Can you upgrade from there? Yeah, you can always upgrade because plastic isn't necessarily good. You want to really get the bottles that have glass, but you got to start somewhere. So if you got to go filtered water bottles and then glass water bottles and then maybe filtered water, hey, it's all steps for success. And you want to always be trying to get enough water that's half your body weight in ounces. So if I am 200 pounds, I would want to try to get to 100 ounces. That's almost a gallon. So the second rule is if you feel thirsty, you're already dehydrated. So you don't want to get that thirst factor. That's my last thing on that. You don't want to get to that thirsty sensation.
Exactly. And again, they were saying, repeating you, solution to pollution is dilution.
That's right. That's right. That's how you win.
I love that you keep talking about just making baby steps. Because for some people, most people, this can be overwhelming. You've researched these things your whole life. I've researched things. Lots of people on here that are doctors and practitioners, this has been our profession, right? We're researchers, readers. We devour this information. But for, I would say, your every, day average person, these little bits, little things that we can do every day that make those little changes that are going to compound, they're really going to add up for people.
Yeah.
Yep, they really will. I love how everyone loves how you're explaining that. Just take little baby steps. So they have some questions about Ice Wave. Do you use Ice Wave in your practice? Do you recommend it? If so, how do you utilize that?
Yes. So Ice Wave is great. It's it's the partner to Eon. Okay. So think of Ice Wave as immediate sharp pain. Think of Ice Wave as an ability to stop your nervous system that is overstimulated. So what's that mean? Like, gosh, I just have this radiating pain or numbness or tingling and just oh, my limb or arm or leg, oh, it's just throbbing. It doesn't stop. Nothing's touching it. So the Ice Wave is using two different patches, positive and negative, polarity. Everything in our body is polarity. That's another one that, we fell asleep, biology class, high school, when the teacher's saying Bueller, anybody?
Yeah.
The cells, all of our cells, every single cell, the inside of the cell is commonly negative. The outside is positive. When we have different stimulus, that changes. It can change real quick in a millisecond, or it can change over time. Different things change it. Emotions, chemicals, minerals, okay, and physical activity, maybe like exercise. So our body works on polarity. We're always changing positive and negative. That's what the patches are doing. So your system, when it's in severe pain and you feel like you can't break it, you're going to use these patches to rebalance the polarity. The polarity's been off. You're too much overcharged, too negative, too positive. The patches are going to help you to rebalance that. So, David Schmidt has pointed this out. You guys can look at this and listen to him explain this on LifeWave Connect, the podcast that he does on Wednesdays. He explains this about Ice Wave. If you have a whole entire limb or your whole lower half is hurting, my whole back is hurting, I damaged my spine or my nerves, and all my legs hurt, I don't know what to do. How do I do that? You can use 2 sets. You could put one ice wave on the bottom of your foot and another one up here where your heart is, where your thymus gland is, up here. One on one side for the left side of your body, and then put another patch under the bottom of the foot on the right foot, and then put another one up here. So you're getting right and left, and that is going to stop that imbalance in that nervous system and get it to shift from sympathetic. What's sympathetic? Sympathetic is when you're in fight flight. That's commonly when you're in survival mode, fighting or fleeing. So it's going to shift you out of that survival mode back into growth and regeneration, because it's going to calm that down and bring you into the mode of parasympathetic, growth, regeneration, healing. So that's really good. So you can use the ice wave. You can use 2 sets if you want to, or 1 set. It's really a person's preference. And then you can also pair it with an eon. The eon's great if you have the specific spot that's throbbing. If the whole leg hurts and you have a specific spot that's throbbing, that's how you pair them together. That's how you're going to decrease that pain. That's how you're going to shift out of that survival sympathetic mode.
So let me ask you this again, because they're asking in the chat. When you're talking about putting a set on the bottom of your feet that corresponds to what's on your chest. So if we're on the right side of the body, am I putting the white on my chest and the tan on my right foot?
Yes.
And then I'm going to come over to my left side. Am I going to put my my white on my left side and my tan on my left foot?
No, only one on each foot, right? So a tan on each foot, tan on the bottom of each foot, and then a white on the top.
Okay,
each side.
Tan. So this is a way to kind of help the entire body open up those energy channels, correct?
Yeah, I'm saying, like, if a person said, "Oh, my whole lower half is out of hand." Yes.
Fantastic. So white are going to go up here at the top. You mentioned like up around your chest. And then the tan, both sets of tan are going to go on the bottoms of the feet, like the K1 acupuncture point, like that location?
Yeah.
Okay,
so
fantastic. I'll have to try that.
So you could do the same thing in your arm. Think about it. If my whole arm was injured, I hurt my neck, my whole arm, I could go white, and then I could put a tan down here or down here on the inside of my wrist. That's where the median nerve kind of controls your whole hand. So then you're getting the whole range of where that nerve goes all the way from your neck into your hand. So you can do that. Sometimes we have to do that. We got to be creative and think, oh, how do I get out of this survival mode? You know?
Yeah, and I love that you said that the body is stuck in that fight or flight mode. It's stuck in the flee mode, like it's stressed. And we've got to break that pattern in order for the body to be able to reset into the parasympathetic rest and relax and digest mode, so it's able to get into that calm healing state, right? Thank you for that explanation. So we have about 5 minutes left. Are there any other patches that you want to do a deep dive in, or what else would you like to share with your audience? We've got about 760 people on here this evening.
All right, LifeWave Nation, we got to grow and help as many people as possible. So, glutathione. Once again, guys, this can help with every organ in our body. It's helping our kidneys to regenerate and heal when we're filtering toxins out of our body. That's amazing. It's helping our lungs when we're breathing in toxins. So, our lungs have 1,000 times more glutathione in the little cells in the walls of our lungs than any other organ. That's amazing. So, I'm just going to put it out there. You guys got to think about this, okay? If you're smoking cigarettes or if you're using medicinal marijuana by smoking it, I'm not against it. You got to think about it. Smoke is an irritant. You're damaging that glutathione that's damaging your ability to decrease your inflammation and heal. What else can damage glutathione? Alcohol, large amounts of alcohol, extreme exercise. So if you're an ultra marathoner or you've done a marathon, you're like, I'm good, I can handle. You depleted your glutathione. You need to you need to add some back into your body because it's trying to recover from all that stress that you put on it for hours and hours. Okay? Heavy metals. So if you've had some uh, metal teeth fillings, or you've had metal teeth fillings removed, or you're exposed to a lot of paint, pesticides, herbicides, those have heavy metals. You gotta detoxify that out of your body. And if you've had that exposed, you're deficient in your glutathione. Okay. Your glutathione is also helping your intestines. It's helping your intestines by boosting your activity and production of your immunity cells. That's huge. That's really big. Okay. So it's helping in so many different ways for bones or joints or nerves or organs. So maybe sometime again I can come back on and we can talk more about that so people can really get into that because it's something they really need to learn about. That's a huge factor for anti-aging and it's a game changer because it helps with cancer treatments. So if a person has had cancer treatments and chemo, if you take glutathione, it's going to help your body recover. It's going to help with Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, all these great, amazing things. So I'd love to come back on and help teach people more about that too.
Wonderful. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Doc Rock. This has been absolutely fantastic. Everyone is just so grateful for all the information and the simplistic way that you shared the information so it's easy for everyone to understand. Thank you for taking the
Sure.
time today to be here for our LifeWave Nation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Stacy. Thank you, LifeWave Nation.
Yes, we will definitely have you back on again. Absolutely. We can do a deep dive into all the benefits of using these patches. So thank you so much. I appreciate you, everything you're doing for our LifeWave community.
Thank
Everyone
you.
have a fantastic rest of your day and your evening. Thank
Have
you,
a
Doc
great night.
Rock.
Thank you.